and that is a complete reversal of the leniency policies imposed by the Obama administration. This on the heels of immigration authorities announcing the biggest gang crackdown to date, arresting over 1,300 gang members just yesterday. Joining me now, Washington Examiner columnist Kristen Soltis Anderson, former D.C. homicide detective Rod Wheeler, and political analyst Gina Loudon. Welcome to you all. I'm going to start with Rod here. How big a change of policy is this for Sessions? To me, it just sounds like absolute logic that you would charge criminals with the biggest charge. Why wouldn't you do that?
Well, good afternoon to you, Jerry. You know, this is huge, actually, and I don't know if the viewers actually realize and recognize how huge this is. Look, almost 1,400 individuals were taken off the streets of the United States yesterday and over the past couple of days by our hero law enforcement officers. Now, why is this so huge? Because what it's going to do, and I actually already see the effects, Jerry, it's going to put a dent into the drug trade. It's going to put a major dent into the crime trade and the murders in this country. So I'll tell you, I, for one, applaud the actions of the Attorney General, because let me tell you, he's not playing games. He's not playing games. And Gina, from that presser, the thing that I heard that I didn't know is that murders are at a 10-year high. Now, if you'll remember, there was a time period where we were talking about crime being down, and it has turned around so quickly. What do you make of the Attorney General's comments? What do you think of this policy? Gina.
Yeah, you know, I'll tend to wax libertarian on some things, but on this in particular, this thing in particular, though, I think we've seen already through this administration, when the president said he's going to enforce our border laws, we see a massive 76% drop in illegal border crossings. And so I think if you are going to try to argue that enforcement doesn't equal deterrence, it doesn't really work. And this is the law and order administration. And so I'm glad to see them saying, hey, this is the law. If you don't like it, change the law. But meanwhile, we're going to enforce the law. We don't get to pick and choose. So
drug traffickers, sex trafficking, murderers, these were the folks that were taken off the streets this week. And just an unbelievable effort, Rod, as you explained. But Kristen, to you, liberals will say that it's just not fair to do this. To go after illegals, to go after people in these gangs. They don't like it. What do you say to them?
Well, I think there is an area of this whole sentencing reform issue where you actually find some overlap between progressives and some in the libertarian movement, not necessarily pertaining to things like illegal immigration, murder, gang violence, things like that. But when you talk about things like mandatory minimums for smaller crimes, possessions of small amounts of things like marijuana, etc., this is where there has been a lot of talk recently about sentencing reform, because there is a belief that in America the justice system doesn't always apply those penalties fairly. And so I think one of the big pushbacks...
Wait a minute. Rod, I want you to jump in here, because this is exactly what Sessions is turning over. This is exactly what he said is a bad thing. This idea that we're not going to go after the low-level stuff. And, you know, my personal views are that that's a mistake. You got to go after the low-level stuff. What do you say? I mean, you've been out there. You've been on the street. Does it make sense to go after people? Maybe they're not carrying a gun, but they're breaking the law. What do you do?
Right. These are all quality of life issues. And let me tell you, it starts somewhere. And let me also be clear about this real quickly, Jerry. I know we don't have a lot of time, but Jeff Sessions and Donald Trump has made it clear that they want to make sure that no one's rights are violated. They want to make sure that when the law enforcement officers go out there and bring these thugs off the street, they're doing it within the confines of the law, and we got to give them a chance to do it. And like I said, I think we're seeing the results already.
Well, you guys are very patient with me. Kristen, thank you. Rod, Gina, thanks so much for being on today. It's a contentious topic. Appreciate your time.